AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Happy New Year, y'all. Been a minute since I've been here. Appreciate Muse, Paulie, everybody for holding it down while I was out. But my goodness, is it good to be back. Happy 2026. We got a ton to do today. So let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't welcome all of our dear friends in Tuscaloosa and Oxford, who no doubt are locked in with us today. We got a lot to do, man. Portal's open, and it's very fluid, so we got a lot that we'll get to here over the course of the next 3 hours. There's so many things to discuss as I've been out for a little more than 2 weeks now, and the portal's open, and LSU is remaking its football roster. The Saints season has ended. A lot to get to, and we will, over the course of the day today, get to all of it. Portal additions, ins, outs, visits, all the info that I have, coaching staff stuff, all of it. Let me begin, though, with quarterback. There is no greater need that LSU has for 2026 to address than quarterback. They need a lot, as there's now, at this very moment, if my count is correct, 23 players in the transfer portal, in addition to the 20-some-odd seniors who are out of eligibility. You're talking about overhauling half of your roster. But none of it matters if you don't have the right quarterback. So, and as of this very moment, the LSU does not have a scholarship quarterback on the roster. Van Buren, Hurley, Johnson, all in the portal. Nussmeier, out of eligibility. So, yes, there is a lot to do, and they got to go address quarterback. The plan had been the plan had been Trinidad Chambliss. I've talked about this on this show, on Locked on LSU, everywhere that I've been on anywhere. The plan was Trinidad Chambliss. When Lane Kiffin was coming over, the plan was to bring Trinidad Chambliss. And I've told you that, I've said this on the record, I have no problem reporting this number, that LSU had an offer approaching $4 million for Trinidad Chambliss, and you could say that's tampering, and I would say, well, you're actually not paying attention to what's actually happening in the world, because all of these deals are done during what I guess we could phrase a legal tampering period. So that was overwhelmingly going to happen. But two things sort of caused that to hit a speed bump. One is Ole Miss has continued winning, so none of their guys have gone in the portal. And I don't think many people outside of Oxford, Mississippi, thought that Ole Miss would still be playing football here on January the 5th, preparing for a national semifinal game. Congrats to them. I mean, amazing win over Georgia. They deserve it. They've played awesome. I mean, I don't cheer for the SEC, but if you are objectively watching that team, they're so fun to watch, which gives you actually a lot of hope for LSU, because that's the team Lane Kiffin built. The other part of that is Trinidad Chambliss' waiver. So throughout all this process, when Lane Kiffin was hired, remember, he was hired here at the beginning, December 1st. And the thought was from the NCAA that Chambliss would have already gotten his waiver clearance by now. I mean, Chambliss even said it on the record in November that he was expecting it would be done in a week or so. I mean, this was before Thanksgiving. And so the fact that you're sitting here on January 5th and the NCAA still hasn't ruled, it put LSU and really all schools that are looking at quarterbacks in a tough spot. The news here on Monday came from Ross Dellinger at Yahoo on Monday morning, 8:01 a.m. Central. He tweeted, Trinidad Chambliss has agreed to a new deal with Ole Miss contingent on him having his eligibility waiver request granted. Okay, and he says his dad says he's, quote, confident. And they could pursue legal means. Okay. So you got to consider this because LSU had to make a decision. LSU had to make a decision. And this is not, I tweeted this earlier today, and boy, Ole Miss fans did not like my tweet. But just think about this logically. You're LSU, you have no quarterbacks on your roster. You have a decision to make. The NCAA has unofficially let Ole Miss know, and by extension LSU, everybody knows now, that they were not going to grant this waiver request. So Trinidad Chambliss has retained attorney Tom Mars, and they're going to have to go a legal route, like Diego Pavia did. And my buddy Ross Dellinger reminded me over the weekend that the NCAA has actually won roughly 2/3 of their eligibility cases that have gone to court. There have been some high-profile losses like Diego Pavia, but they've won a lot of them. So if you're LSU, you think of it this way. You have no scholarship quarterbacks on your roster. You would love for Trinidad Chambliss to be. That's objective fact. He is awesome. Like, you've heard the comps to like a young Russell Wilson. He has been sensational. And by the way, you'd have no transition. He knows the coaches, the terminology, the offense, the scheme, all of it. In the SEC, you would have no transition whatsoever. Boom, hit the ground running. And you would love for that to be an option. But what if it's not granted? What if the waiver is not granted? And what if you go to court and lose? Then what? So LSU kind of had to sit there and make this decision. Do we risk it, playing this thing out with Chambliss, hoping that he comes to Baton Rouge, or do you move on and go get one of the top quarterbacks in the portal? They made the decision as the portal opened to move on. They had to. Like, doesn't that make sense? Like, can we all just intellectually admit that makes sense? Like, because you're hoping that Chambliss gets his waiver or you win in court, but if he doesn't, you're screwed. You have no quarterbacks. There's no spring portal window. So you had to go after what was a more certain thing, even if Chambliss would have been your top option. So they moved on. And the top two guys in the portal were Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati and Sam Leavitt from Arizona State, and that's where they are. And by the way, the Chambliss thing, because I know there are people at Ole Miss who don't want to acknowledge this, but before Ole Miss played Tulane, Trinidad Chambliss, speaking to the media, was asked point blank, if you get your 6th year, would you be back at Ole Miss? This is what Trinidad Chambliss said.
I would have to consider like what the best situation is for me, what I feel most comfortable with, who I trust the most, and just get a feel for, every possibility, really. So there's a lot that goes into that.
That doesn't sound like a dude that was pot committed to being back in Oxford. That doesn't sound like a dude that's got rebel red and blue running through his veins with no consideration of anything else. That dude knew what was up. Like, let's be honest intellectually with each other here. We can have this conversation. All of these dudes are mercenaries. They can love the place they are, but you have to be realistic as well in understanding that everything is 1 year free agency. Chambliss made no money this year at Ole Miss. He came from Ferris State as a backup. If he gets his waiver, he's got 1 year to cash in. Go where the money's the best. And they kept winning. Ole Miss boosters want to ante up to make sure they keep him. Cool. Okay. That's what it is. But let's not pretend like he's just Ole Miss through and through and was never going to consider leaving. His own words. He told you 2 weeks ago that he was going to leave. So LSU pivots. Brendan Sorsby, always thought to be a Texas Tech lean. The reports are, and I can confirm the same that I heard, was north of $5 million. His girlfriend went there as well as a volleyball player as a transfer to Texas Tech. LSU hosted him over the weekend. They took him to Supper Club because, of course, they would. And this ultimately was the thing that was clearly about the money. And if you're LSU, you ask yourself this question: can you justify the spend? if it's going to take $5.5, $6 million to get Brendan Sorsby, and you were going to pay $3.85 thereabouts, just south of $4 for Trinidad Chambliss, who's I think we can agree, Chambliss a more accomplished player than Sorsby, and you're willing to pay out $4 for Chambliss, and Sorsby was going to cost you $5.5, $6. You ask yourself the question: do you continue upping the ante, or do you take that money and say, I'm going to invest in the rest of my roster, feeling like I can get a quarterback at a more reasonable price and invest the rest of the money into the roster? And ultimately, does it make sense to go spend on the quarterback if you don't have the roster around him? You want to make the analogy to pro sports, because that's what this is. How about the Kansas City Chiefs? You paid Patrick Mahomes $500 million. What does the rest of your roster look like? Old. Right? That's what this is. You have to decide how you want to allocate your funds. So here on Monday, Sam Leavitt, the Arizona State transfer, is going to visit LSU. I was told he was scheduled to arrive at LSU at 2 p.m. Central, so about an hour ago from right now. So he should be there now. Leavitt has also visited University of Kentucky, and I'm told Kentucky is preparing a huge financial offer for Sam Leavitt. So we'll see where this goes. But Leavitt, everyone knows his story. He started his career at Michigan State, moved to Arizona State, led the Sun Devils to the playoff a year ago. They had a fantastic season this year, suffered a Lisfranc injury. He missed half the season because of that injury, and that injury is going to cost him spring as well. So he's not going to participate in spring football. That's a challenge, because now you're talking about potentially bringing in a quarterback that is not going to participate in spring practice. And new coaches, new system, new terminology, new teammates, new everything, and your quarterback's not going to be on the field. Remember 2018 Joe Burrow? He went through spring at Ohio State, showed up at LSU in June. It was a struggle for the first 2/3 of 2018 with Joey B. I say it often. He went through the entire month of October without throwing a touchdown pass in 2018. And then when you got into November and into the bowl game, he really started to accelerate, and then boom, hit that kick in 2019. We saw what happened. So that's a big question with Sam Leavitt. Should you add him? But he's, depending on which of the scouting services you look at, Sorsby, Leavitt, Sorsby, those are the top two guys in the portal. And if you get one of them, you feel like that's a big win, but they both would have come with questions. If you don't get Leavitt, there's this real question of what's next. DJ Lagway's out there. He's visited Florida State. He's going to visit Virginia. His agent said he's going to visit other spots. Two other names that we gave you to keep an eye on, Damon Williams from Washington, CJ Bailey from NC State. They've both committed to staying at their current schools, not going into the portal. So those elite level, top-tier quarterbacks, that crop starts to thin out. So if you're LSU, you know you're not in the mix for Chambliss anymore. Sorsby has signed with Texas Tech. You got to be all in on Leavitt. So whatever it takes to get him here, if you want to get one of the top-tier quarterbacks in this portal cycle, this is where you're looking. So we'll see if they can get a deal done before Sam Leavitt leaves Baton Rouge. As that visit goes along, we'll let you know how it goes as we learn more. I was told it's supposed to be a multi-day visit. So he arrived here in Baton Rouge on Monday, and the visit's supposed to go through Monday night into Tuesday. So as we learn more, we'll tell you more. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Thanks for being here. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. As we move into 2026, toast 2026 with a delicious ice-cold Bud Light. We always appreciate our friends over at Mockler Beverage. The amazing folks over there have been great community partners for decades. And, of course, we always encourage you to drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, official beer of your New Orleans Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, quick break. Come back. I got tons of LSU stuff to do. 45 minutes from right now, I want to talk about Charlie Weiss and the coaching staff and everything that's been happening there. Broke the news on Sunday about TJ Lindsey. His legal matter has been wrapped up, and he has been invited to return to the LSU football team. I'll tell you what I know next hour. We will go through all the LSU portal additions in between now and 5 o'clock Central Time. There may be more, so we'll tell you that as we know more. So a ton to do, and glad you're hanging out. So stay with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
If you are thinking about buying a new home, maybe 2026, your New Year's resolution is new year, new home. Maybe 2026, you're starting a new job and you're moving for that new job and you have to sell your current home. You need Darren James. Bottom line is you got to work with a realtor, okay? 3/4, 75% of people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. So save yourself the time and the money. Get your home sold fast for the most amount of money. Call Darren James. Darren's got his guaranteed sale program. Guarantees he'll sell your home at a price by a deadline you agree to. If he doesn't, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it for free. He's also got his contact guarantee. If at any point you're not thrilled with the communication from Darren and his team, fire him. Let you out of the contract free and clear, no questions asked. You have nothing to lose. So call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Our guys battled, but I thought the defense just played some outstanding football out there, and we just weren't able to quite get it done. We're close. A bunch of guys took advantage of some opportunities out there, and so overall, there's a little bit of reflection in the sense that really proud of this group, the way they've stuck together and battled each and every way, all the way down to the very end of this game, and so really proud of this group, and obviously, we want to recognize that first and foremost.
A year one of the Ellen Moore era in the books.
Ellen Moore.
It's never going to get old. I don't care that it's 2026. I don't care that it's a new year. Just keep that drop handy, Muse. We are going to keep rolling with that Ellen Moore drop.
Ellen Moore.
So good. So the Saints wrap up the season 6-11 with a 19-17 loss to Atlanta. And I told you all season, I've been consistent, if nothing else, that I was never going to come in here on a Monday and react to a result, a win or a loss, emotionally, because I had no expectation for this team. I picked them 5-12. They finished 6-11. So regrets to all of you Saints under bettors who looked like you were going to have a rocking chair cover. When they made a 7-game losing streak, it looked like y'all were going to cash that ticket before Christmas. And not so much. The Saints go over the win total and really head into the offseason with a degree of optimism for the first time, I think probably since Sean Payton left. We'll get to that in just a second. But I told you I'm not going to react emotionally to a result. It would have been great to beat Atlanta. Always fun to beat the Falcons. I told you that over the final month when a lot of people were wondering, like, did you want to tank to lose for draft position or did you want to win? I told you I want to win. I am way more concerned with this team showing promise and the ability to win in the NFL and finding out and solidifying quarterback with Tyler Shuck than I am with getting a higher draft pick and questioning, do they need to use that high draft pick on a quarterback? So I'm glad that they won as much as they did. Losing on Sunday wasn't the worst thing because you've already solidified. We all agree unanimously that Tyler Shuck is your guy, right? There is no consideration or should be no consideration from anyone of going into this offseason needing a quarterback. You are not looking in free agency, and you are not looking in the draft for a quarterback. You got the guy that you're going into next year thinking he may be your franchise. With what Tyler Shuck showed over the second half of this season was remarkable, especially with the supporting cast, and that was magnified on Sunday in Atlanta. Yes, you lost the game. Oh, by the way, losing that game did lock up the 8th pick for New Orleans. Had they won, they would have selected 11th. So kind of the best of both worlds. Like, you feel really good about Tyler Shuck, and you improve 3 draft spots. Okay, I'm good with it. If you watch the game, or if you let's say you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the box score, I mean, you just cover the teams and the score and just look at the box score. Total yardage, 340 to 208. Passing, 232 to 159. Rushing, 108 to 49. 2 yards a carry? Incredible. You would have looked at that and said, man, Column A dominated the game. No, Column A lost 19-17. And it's what happens. I mean, you had a block punt that netted a touchdown for Atlanta. You had the interception late in the game that netted a field goal. You gave him 10 points. You gave him 10 points in a 19-17 game. You gave him 10 points on a day where they put up 208 yards of total offense. Okay, it's the NFL. It happens. You can't make mistakes. Those types of things are going to cost you. Great play by the defensive back in Atlanta on the interception, jumped the route, return of 59 yards, set up a field goal, all that stuff, whatever. But the other thing that just jumps off the page when you read through this box score are the names. The New Orleans Saints put up nearly 400 yards of offense with Audric Estime as the running back. Your second leading rusher was Tyler Shuck. And with dudes named Samori Toure and Ronnie Bell catching passes. Actually, this is the list of players that caught a pass against Atlanta. Juwan Johnson, Dante Pettis, Audric Estime, Kevin Austin, Taysom Hill, Ronnie Bell, and Samori Toure. What? I'm pretty sure Muse Pauly and I could have gone out there and replicated that production. Okay, maybe not exactly. I don't run as well as I used to. Back issues and all that stuff. But you get my point. Like, I had to look this up. Was this guy's name? Samori Toure didn't even play in the NFL last year. And this was the only game he played in this year. This is the first time he got played in an NFL game in 2 years after a couple of seasons with Green Bay. Ronnie Bell caught that touchdown pass at the end of the game. One-handed, by the way. Take notes, Chris Olave. It's possible to make a contested catch. Anyway, Ronnie Bell, I'm going, Ronnie Bell? Who the hell is Ronnie Bell? I feel like the scene in Major League. Mitchell Friedman? Who are these guys? I mean, it was like incredible. They put up almost 400 yards with those guys. Kelvin Banks gets injured. You're still without your starting center. Like, what are we? You have to consider those things. And on the flip side of it, your defense, hat tip to Brandon Staley. That's got to be the least talked about storyline with this Saints team this year. You were 30th in the NFL last year in total defense. And you went out and allowed 208 yards of offense to Atlanta in this game on the road. Cam gets 10.5 sacks on the season. Granderson's interception was incredible. You held Bijan Robinson, who can we all agree is good? You held Bijan Robinson to 33 yards on 15 carries? I mean, they've got Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. And Kirk Cousins threw for 159 yards. It's crazy to look at the disparity with what the Falcons had on their roster, what the Saints had on their roster. The Saints just made a few mistakes, cost them a game, which, okay. This is the first time heading into an offseason, I think since the COVID year, that I can look at New Orleans. I mean, even if that counts. I don't even know if that counts because Breeze retired after you lost to Tampa in the Dome, Breeze's last game. But I think going into 2021, there was reason for optimism because, remember, you still had Sean Payton. You still had a core of a team that had been to the playoffs every year since 2017. And you had Jameis, who took that COVID year and was basically Drew Brees' pupil. It was just, hey, sit and watch, and you're going to be the guy next year. And I mean, kind of worked. I mean, the Saints were 5-2 when Devin White horse collar Jameis tore his ACL. I can't help but wonder, how could things have been different had that not happened? But anyway, all that to say, going into that year was probably the last time we actually had reason for optimism. Subsequent to that, I mean, it was an awful lot of Andy Dalton and Andy Dalton. And then Derek Carr. I mean, there was no reason to think that it was going to get turned around to be a contender again after 2021. So, man, I think the biggest question you ask is, do you trust Mickey Loomis to handle draft and free agency? And I can't tell you definitively that I do. Because if you're going to sit here and tout this year, this most recent draft class, and 2017, I'll go, okay, what about the other 20 drafts? What about the Andrew Tillers and the Kyrie Forts and the Marcus Davenports, the Peyton Turners? What about those drafts? The Trevor Pennings, right? You can't wipe away 20 years of bad drafts because they're two good ones. And if you want to talk about finally having money to spend in free agency, great, but that's not because Loomis did anything great. That's because Derek Carr retired. And it gave you a mulligan because of the awful contract you gave him and the awful restructuring of that contract. You want me to talk about Jarris Byrd and Jason David and Adrian Peterson and Brandon Browner and Derek Carr? I can talk about a lot of bad free agent signings Mickey Loomis has done. So I don't have any confidence in Loomis to get it right. My hope is Tyler Shuck, Kellen Moore, Brandon Staley can overcome that. And maybe they do go hit and draft in free agency because you got the quarterback in place You don't need much to go from a 6-win team to maybe a 9-10 win team and be in the playoffs. So heading into this offseason with some optimism, mainly because even with the loss to Atlanta, even in the loss to Atlanta, I think it illustrates even further how good you feel about your quarterback and your defense going into next year. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. You know the drill. Kill mold, remove odor. It's Parish Restoration. They'll come and spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Super easy. It's cost-effective. It's efficient. It's more effective. It'll kill dozens of harmful pathogens. Maybe you've got flu or cold or COVID or whatever going through the office. Call Parish. They'll come spray. It'll sanitize the entire place, your home, your office, your church, school, whatever. Parish Restoration. Maybe you got odor from sweat, or mold, or pets, or smoke. You need to knock out that odor. Parish Restoration can help. ParishRestoration.com. 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 All right, y'all, it's AFR. Glad you're hanging out. Ross Jackson will be with us, talk some Saints with Ross from LouisianaSports.net here in about 45 minutes from right now. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. LSU basketball still stinks. I've got a new love of sardines. I'll tell you about that. Yeah, I know, I swear. I'll tell you about that coming up in a little bit as well. A lot to do. We'll talk Charlie Weiss. What happened with him this weekend? Do that coming up in 30 minutes. What? How'd your arm go left?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at the sardines because when I saw the rundown, I thought it was somehow related to you putting LSU B-ball stinks and it's /sardines because sardines smell. Yeah. So when you said you love them now, I'm like, oh, well, I took sardines. That the completely wrong way. I just thought it was funny.
I love sardines.
All right. I can't wait to hear why.
You'll hear it after the next break.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. New year, new you. New Year's resolution, y'all. This is your stop, okay? At Goodwood, remember, they're on Drusilla in Baton Rouge, but there's 3 different businesses in one. You've got Goodwood, which is the men's clinic. You got Unique Physique, which is the GLP-1s, right? Semaglutide, tirzepatide, the weight loss shots. And then you've got Unique Aesthetics and Wellness, which is the aesthetics clinic, right? Botox and body contouring and all, laser therapies, all that sort of stuff. All 3 in one place, right there on Drusilla in Baton Rouge. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. I want you to do this, men or women. Because, by the way, women, if you want to get your hormone levels checked, and if you did not see what the FDA recently came out with, reversing a decades-long feeling about the benefits of HRT for women, you need to learn more. But start your wellness journey at yourgoodwood.com and get those levels checked. Yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Big shout out to Relief Windows. Brandon Holly and the gang do awesome work. New year. Thrilled to have our friends with us. You need windows, doors, siding, shutters. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. My apologies, by the way, to the Cincinnati Bengals and the Detroit Lions. I mean, how else can we look at this other than me giving them the total kiss of death? The Lions and Bengals, that was my Super Bowl pick, and neither made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Atrocious. Yeah. Now, I feel like I get a caveat because if you had told me Joe Burrow was going to miss half the season with a toe, toes are bad.
So he had a bad, probably the worst toe.
One of the worst toes you'll ever see.
Yes.
Surgery and missing half the year.
Yeah.
But if you had told me that, the Bengals weren't going to have Joey B for half the year, I probably would have gone a different direction.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Lions, that's just on me. I'll own it. It's on me. Who was your pick? Who's y'all? Do you
I believe mine was Bills Eagles.
Paulie, remember who you had?
I think mine was Bills Packers.
Are y'all gonna have to go check it out? Go. The one thing
I don't feel good about it at all. I'll be honest.
The one thing that I wanted to pull the trigger on was Denver in the or maybe the Chargers. I wanted to pull the trigger on a different AFC West team, and I teased it and was like, no, I'm just.
I thought you did.
Maybe I did.
I thought you did.
Paulie, look it up.
Someone else.
Let's see how our picks are looking. If you have it handy, we'll get to that. But yes, I know my Super Bowl pick was Bengals Lions, and not only are neither going to win the Super Bowl, neither made the playoffs. Just absolute atrocity on my part. Do you have it, Paulie?
It's in my office. I'll get it.
Okay. I thought you were looking for it. It's all good. Okay. It's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. New year, new you, new vision. WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Call 924-2020. 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. And of course, it's eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. So we talk all the time about, be it LASIK or PRK or EVO ICL, the custom lens replacement. But remember, the start of the year is a great time to go get your annual eye exam. If you haven't done it, it's always a good reminder. When the calendar flips, just go get your eye exam at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. If you need to update your prescription for your contacts or glasses, they can do that as well. And if you want to inquire about refractive surgery, so you can ditch the contacts and glasses forever, call the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. I got a text on the text line. Apparently, this is a question. So I tweeted earlier this morning, that I confirmed there were 2 visitors coming to Baton Rouge today. Sam Leavitt, one of them, and the other is Jace Brown, who is a wide receiver from Kansas State. Since been told there are 3. Brown is one of 3 receivers visiting. So Leavitt plus 3 receivers, so 4 visitors today at LSU. Leavitt was set to arrive at 2 o'clock, and then the receivers are arriving later this afternoon, early evening. And so I'd be getting a lot of questions. Amy asked on the text line, several others on Twitter had asked, because Brown had apparently shared on his Instagram story that he was in Oxford at Ole Miss. Well, he's leaving Oxford and then coming to Baton Rouge. So these guys are just on, all these guys that are taking visits, it's a whirlwind. I mean, it's not that dissimilar from the pre-draft process for a lot of draft prospects who are hopping to different cities, doing pre-draft top 30 visits with all these different teams. So it's it's very similar to that. So you got these guys constantly on the go, figuring out where the best spot and the next spot is going to be. So anyway, so yes, Jace Brown, the receiver from Kansas State, is visiting, but he and the other 2 receivers who are coming, I don't have their names, I'm working on it, are set to visit. They're set to arrive this afternoon, late afternoon, early evening after the visit from at Ole Miss. So yes, Jace Brown is still coming to Baton Rouge, just he'll arrive later in the day. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're here. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Pete Thamel reports Ty Simpson has not made a decision yet on what he'll do in 2026. That's according to his agent, Peter Webb. He could turn pro, but after a really bad November and end of the season, could he return to school? And if he does return to school, could it mean transfer portal? One worth keeping an eye on, because if, in fact, Ty Simpson goes to the portal, he would become one of the more coveted, sought-after quarterbacks in college football for 2026.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Former Clemson safety Khalil Barnes has committed to Georgia. 6 foot, 200-pounder. He's an Athens native, so he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. He was a full-time starter for Clemson each of the past 2 years, 7 games as a true freshman back in 2022. So 3 years at Clemson. He's got 1 season remaining.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Baylor center Colton Price has committed to Kentucky. 6'3", 318, the number 1 center in the transfer portal. He ranks number 34 overall, according to 24/7. He redshirted his first year on campus, but he's basically been a starter since 2023. So a 3-year starter there at Baylor, transferring now to Kentucky.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma has landed Virginia wide receiver Trell Harris, really highly coveted. He's the number 52 overall prospect in the portal rankings, the 13th best wide receiver. He's a 4-star in the portal, played in 13 games with 12 starts in 2025.
The Texas Longhorns.
Texas landed their first portal commitment in Arkansas defensive tackle Ian Geffrard. He's a big commitment, 6'5", 387. How you doing? He picked Texas over Auburn, Kentucky, and SMU.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer landed his first portal commitment. It's Oklahoma receiver Jaden Gibson, 6'5", 197. Big old target. Spent the last 4 seasons at OU. He'll have 1 season remaining. He missed 24 due to an injury. Played in 22 games during his 4 seasons at OU. Only 15 catches, though, over those 4 seasons. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad you're hanging out with us as always. Love telling you about Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Brandon, Holly, and the gang do an awesome job, so you want to make your home more energy efficient. Beautify the exterior of your home. Lower those energy bills. They can help you do it all at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding. They do shutters too. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, it is AFR. We're glad to have you trucking along with us here on our first show of 2026. I do want to, in 18 minutes at the top of hour 2, I'm going to get into all the back and forth with LSU and Ole Miss and all the coaching stuff. If you have questions, anything you'd like us to address specifically, we'll get to it. You can email me, tweet me, or text me. You can text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. A lot of people found the text line over the last 2 weeks. So, yes, that's actually me. It's actually me responding. It's an app on my phone. It is free for you. I pay for it, so please use it. 225-396-4400, 396-4400. We'll continue to wrap up hour number 1 when we come back, and maybe a thought on both LSU men's and women's basketball. And when I say a thought, I mean like literally just maybe one thought, and then we'll move on. It's AFR.
After further review.
Man, I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. And as we start a new year and as the weather continues to go throughout this seasonal change, as we're supposed to be getting, it's 71 right now, we're supposed to be getting chilly the rest of this week, make sure you get by Clegg's Nursery. Even though Christmas is past, it is still the perfect time with this cooler weather to plant a fruit tree. Like those fruit trees love this cooler weather, and there's plenty of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs that love this type of weather. So they've got a great selection over at Clegg's. Get by any of the 4 locations: Sigourney Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day to buy local and shop local. And maybe you didn't get what you want for Christmas. Go get it yourself. Clegg's gift card, all the exterior decor, if you need tuned wind chimes, anything to beautify your garden, your outdoor area, they've got it at Clegg's Nursery with beautiful shipments of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs arriving almost daily. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, we're having hour number 1. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR. First show of 2026. And wishing you and yours a very happy, healthy new year. Hope 2026 allows all of your hopes and dreams to come true, and everybody has a safe and wonderful, healthy, prosperous 2026. Tigers obviously are working toward building their 2026 roster. I did get word, by the way, Trey Brown, the Old Dominion receiver, is one of the receivers visiting today on campus. So again, as we get more of this information, I'll share it with you as we have it. I would highly recommend you follow me on Twitter or the text lines, where I'm putting out a lot of the info as we get it. And of course, over at LouisianaSports.net, where we do have a roster tracker there it's pinned on the home page under the top stories, and it's effectively a roster tracker with a list of everything: the LSU players that have gone in the portal, the players that have announced they're returning for 2026, the portal additions, so 3 so far, and then the reported visits. That's all there. So just I would recommend that you just go bookmark that portal tracker at the homepage of LouisianaSports.net. And as I always mention to you, LouisianaSports.net is totally free. There's no paywalls, there's no subscriptions, there's no article limits. It's just free. It's not freemium, it's free. Just everything will always be free. So go visit the website, bookmark it, share links, and tell people that LouisianaSports.net exists and support our great sponsors, and we appreciate it. So I'll talk about Charlie Weiss and the LSU coaching staff, the back and forth with Ole Miss, in about 11 minutes after the top of the hour. LSU basketball, I said I'd give you a thought. Maybe both the men and the women aren't any good. That's probably way presumptive and probably unfair, quite honestly. But we have talked so little at all about the basketball programs collectively right now, because it's hard to read anything into the men's basketball program because of what we saw a year ago, where they loaded up in the pre-conference with wins and then got into conference play and face-planted. And they and South Carolina were the only 2 teams in a 16-member conference not to make the NCAA tournament. And so LSU similarly this year had a very impressive non-conference record. And they get into conference play and they go on the road to Texas A&M, which should feel like one of your inherently winnable conference road games, and they lost 75-72. A late collapse. It's fair to mention they did not have DJ Thomas, who's their best player and their best offensive weapon, and but still, that's a road win in conference that those don't come by easily. Opportunities for road wins in the league, and they didn't get it. On the flip side, the women have started 0-2 in conference play, and that's devastating because you were beating SWAC and MEAC schools by 100, and now you're 0-2 in conference with losses to Kentucky and Vanderbilt. And Kim Mulkey said point blank afterwards that her team isn't tough. Well, don't schedule SWAC and MEAC teams that you beat by 100. Go actually play people in the non-conference. So, listen, it's a long, long way to go. I'm not going to sit here and overreact to an 0-2 start for the women, who are a supremely talented basketball team, and we'll have a great opportunity to get it together. But some of the things that you would have liked to have seen worked out in the pre-conference clearly weren't because they didn't play anybody. And for the men, it shows just how vulnerable you are in this league when you don't have your best player. You're not able to overcome it. So hoping for better ahead. The men will play South Carolina on Tuesday. The women are at Georgia on Thursday, the next time they're out there on the hardwood. All right, it is after further review. I got to tell you about my new obsession in just a second, but we are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. New year, still our same great partnership with South Point Volkswagen that we've had for years, and the 2026s have arrived. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, get on by, test drive 2026 Volkswagen Atlas. How about 0.9% APR? My goodness, is that a typo? It's almost like free money out there, y'all. Drive one of the safest vehicles on the road. Style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. It's at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, I do. So, Muse, I mentioned you have a new obsession.
Obsession. Strong word.
Obsession.
Right, let me lay it on me. Here we go.
Well, let's be honest about what we know about me, okay? I don't have a lot of hobbies.
That's true, you don't.
When I go down the rabbit hole on something, I tend not to half-step.
I was about to say, there ain't no half-stepping. Nope, it is full bore.
When I'm in. It's hard to get me committed. But when I'm committed to something, I'm all in, right?
Yes.
Like, we're at the Sphere in Las Vegas. So Eric and I went with another couple to Vegas this weekend, just a Friday to Sunday trip, and we went to go see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere.
Okay.
The show was at 2 Pacific, so I'm sitting in my seat. It's 1:48, 12 minutes. I get pinged. Michael Van Buren's going to go in the portal. Hunt is at a party for his mother-in-law or something. I don't know, whatever. So I'm sitting there at the Sphere, having spent lots of money to fly there, hotel, tickets, whatever. I get my phone out. I'm writing the Michael Van Buren portal story on a note on my phone. Like, when I'm in, I'm in. Sneakers?
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey?
Head first.
I ain't got many of them. But if I got my health journey, that's where this started. So I started looking into, somehow fell way down the keto rabbit hole. And apparently one of the healthiest, most nutritious foods that you could possibly eat are sardines.
Okay.
And my reaction was that. You ever eaten a sardine?
I have not. I don't particularly love raw fish, so I don't know if I would like it, but I do. I am very open to trying things once.
I'll tell you what. Everything you've ever been told in your life about sardines, everything you've been led to believe, gross, disgusting,
slimy,
all that.
Smelly.
Everything that you've been... Now, I still don't smell real good.
That's true, you don't.
Because of COVID. So, had COVID, whatever, 5 years ago, and there's still some things I don't smell. Which actually, I'll tell you, if there's one scent, if you have to forfeit a scent, there's some great smelling stuff in the world. But that's one that you could live without. But anyway, my taste is fine, but there's some things I still don't smell. I had to get up the courage to go do this, right? Like, I got a cold plunge every morning.
Yeah.
I throw my body into 50-degree water every day of my life. I mean, I'm in. So I'm like, all right, I got to try this. If this is like the keto superfood and has all these incredible benefits, like, I have to go try this. People do sardine fast, like it's all they'll eat for like 3 days, just sardines, or 100 days, just sardines. And so I'm like, I'll go do this. And I had to get over the mental hurdle, Muse, because I'm telling you, I'm same as you. You've basically been told something your whole life.
Right.
Without ever trying it. Jimmy Brooks. I went up to Jimmy Brooks from 100.7 The Tiger. His office is next to mine. So, I mean, you ever had a sardine? And he did that. I'm like, you ever eaten one? No. I'm like, then don't talk.
Right. No, I fully understand that.
Bro, love them.
And you're just doing it raw.
Love them.
Just peeling
Open the can back. Fork, eat them.
Wow.
They're delicious.
Yeah?
I mean, I was preparing myself for, like, I just got to just suck it up and do it. I love it. New obsession. If whatever you've been taught your whole life about sardines, don't believe all the fake news. Try sardines. You'll love them. Maybe not.
After further review.
We're early. I think our clocks may be off. Yeah, I think we're early.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll check that.
Yeah, check the clock there. What do I have to tell people about Parrish Construction and Roofing? Do business with someone you know. Hey, 2026, I want to just politely request. So y'all know that I'm an owner. I'm a partner in Parrish, okay? I'm an equity partner, part of the ownership group of Parrish. And we're thrilled with the work we've been able to do, our growth, and everything we've done there with Parrish Construction and Roofing. Our big initiative in 2026 is New Orleans. We're going to continue, of course, growing in Baton Rouge and all areas. But we have a physical office in New Orleans. It's not like we're trying to go into New Orleans. We already do plenty of work in New Orleans. We have a physical office in New Orleans. One of our partners, Joe Morales, lives in River Ridge. We have boots on the ground in the 504 and the 985 every single day. So roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential, gutters, soft wash. We do it all. We do it better than anyone. We'd love the opportunity to bid your commercial job or come give you a roof inspection. ParrishBuilt.com.